All right, everybody, welcome to our live after show of the worst show in the world, Game of Thrones, Season 5, Episode 10, the season finale. We just finished watching it, and we hated it.
Wait a minute. And that's it. See y'all later.
Yeah, we're not even going to do this, so see you later.
You may have hated it, but I did not.
Okay, well, my name's Matt. The guy above me is Dan.
And I am Dan, and the guy over there is the other guy.
Hey, I'm Opie, and the guy below me is Tim.
I'm Tim, and the guy below.
Nice try.
Yeah, so...
Matt, so tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? I think it's really what I want to get. I don't know if much happened, or I don't know. I was kind of bored.
I'm pretty sure... Let me tell you something. So I'm pretty sure...
The whole movie.
I'm pretty sure we just watched the series finale because nobody's left. Everybody died, so there's no characters left in the show ever. And 2, even if there are people left, I'm not watching this show anymore. So for me, it's the series finale because this. Ugh.
Tim, go ahead and finish your thought before Matt cut you off.
Sorry.
Very articulate there, Matt.
Right.
Good job. It's a great description. You should go into, be a critic and stuff. Right, views. Ugh. The best scene, Cersei. I liked it. I did.
It is. It's a good moment.
It's about time she gets what's coming to her. Karma. That's what I got to say about it.
I thought it was really good, and it stayed very true to the books. And I don't think Matt will quit watching.
Try me.
Knee-jerk reaction.
We'll get to that point here in a little bit, because I bring with me many notes, plenty of notes, to discuss everything that has happened in this episode. And then we'll get to the last part where I'll put on my nerd hat and appease Matt a little bit so he's not so angry.
I don't think it'll help.
It may. You don't know yet. We'll find out. So,
Worst.
You guys ready to get started in? Opie, you got any opening thoughts?
Oh, no, it's just, let's do it.
Okay, then.
Shame.
Strong
Shame.
argument.
Shame.
What happens
It's
to
shame.
live and
Crying
WWE?
shame.
Shame.
So, all right. So we start off. We have Melisandre and Stannis standing around. The snow's melting. Like, oh, okay, killing Shireen because I'm a terrible father. It's helping the snow melt, so it's gonna be good. We're in the God's favor now. The light, the God of Light, or the whatever, Lord of Light.
Lord of Light.
He's looking on us. We're good. Oh wait, hey Stannis, half of our men have left, and they took all the horses. Oh, that's one thing. Oh hey Stannis, your wife killed herself over here in the woods. Oh hey Stannis, Melisandre just left. And he's just like, seriously?
It's like it's like a Ben Stiller movie.
Right.
Like just things keep just getting worse and worse.
Grace, one more time. Your grace.
Right. So yes, he gets a lot of bad news right off the start for killing his daughter, which is pretty terrible anyway. So yes. It jumps from there. We go to John starts sharing his story of, is it Hardhome, I think is the name of the place they were at, to Sam, and explaining about the White Walkers, and he raised all these people from the dead. They start talking a little bit about Dragonglass, and John's like, we left it all there, we just know where to get it. Although it's been stated that you can go to Dragonstone and there's tons of Dragonglass there multiple times. But I think it has in the series. In the books it does, so it doesn't matter the little bit they've lost. He talks about how he was able to slay one of the White Walkers with long claws, so we know Valyrian still will kill them. And he kind of talks about being the worst Lord Commander ever. Little foreshadowing. So he talks about that a little bit with Sam, just, whatever. And Sam finally goes, hey, can me and Gilly get out of town? When you're gone, kind of targets for people.
Yeah.
And we're going to end you right now.
Go ahead and leave now.
Right. So yes, Sam wants to go read the books. He wants to be a maester. John kind of gives his blessings, and then Sam's like, hey, fist bump. I totally hit that the other night.
I was thinking the same thing. I was waiting for John to say, wait.
Here, put it
Sam,
out there.
wait.
Blow it up.
Did you hit that shit? Boom.
Right.
La, 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 la.
Hello.
go, go.
La,
And he's just like, you hit that? All
Yeah.
right, son. Let's go, bro.
What? Had a point. It's like,
But he makes it stronger. He sits there and tells Johnny's like, listen, Gilly's going to end up trying to getting killed. Little Sam's going to get killed. I'm going to get killed because I'm going to be trying to protect them. It's kind of stupid for us to stay around. We need to get on the road.
But then John says, "Silly Sam, nobody ever gets hurt here at Castle Black. You don't need to leave."
I don't think he said that at
No,
all.
no.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't.
Right. So
Damn
it goes
it.
to another scene where Sam looks longingly at John while he's on his cart about to head out of town and just foreshadowing more of what's to come. Like, I'll never see you again. I love you,
You
man.
shut your mouth. You shut up because that didn't really happen.
So,
That's one of the.
we cut from all that. We jump back to Stannis, and of course they're out of horses. They're out of sell swords. They're just gotta walk them. They're just like, let's just truck it. We're going to Winterfell. I don't even care anymore. Everybody's dead. Everybody's gone. Just screw it. We're going. And
I think that's what I was thinking. They were.
maybe they won't be there. Come on.
shit, we scared them off already. It's
That's what I was thinking. So they're just, Stannis formed this big army. We're gonna take Winterfell, and then by the time they actually get to Winterfell, they're just a bunch of dudes walking through the snow. They can barely hold their banners up. They have no horses.
It's like the worst army ever. He's the greatest tactician, and they're just like, there's 12 of us. Let's get him! Yeah! So while this is going on, Sansa's breaking out of her room. She's heading out, and it's kind of clipping from scene to scene because a big event's about to happen here. Clips to Podrick. He looks over the mountain. He sees Stannis' army marching on Winterfell. He runs off. He goes tell Brienne, hey, Stannis is coming. We need to roll. Wouldn't you know it, they look at the towers like, no candle. Turn candle. Boom. Totally missed. Totally missed.
But that was
Stannis-
kind of okay. So let's talk
go
about
ahead.
that because that was kind of silly because that's the classic. Oh, one person just misses the other, but in this case, it didn't matter. Oh, I guess it did matter because I was thinking, well, she missed the candle, but no big deal because she's going to go to Winterfell anyway because there's about to be a big war there. She's going to bust into Winterfell and save Sansa. So what does it matter if she saw the candle or not? But it just hit me that she never did go to Winterfell.
That's right. She found Stannis outside.
Yep.
Took care of business there. But Sansa was to light the tower a little too late. Boom. Brienne's like, nope, screw it. I'm not helping her anymore. Blah, blah, blah. Stannis is preparing his men for attack, but oh crap, they've got horses. Son of a.
Well, and not only that, but they have about 8 times the number of
I
men.
just love Stannis' face. He's like,
He's just like, son of. This is the worst day.
Worst day ever.
Ever.
Father's Day of all days. Father's Day's right around the corner.
So yes, the Boltons come charging out, and they pretty much lay waste to everything Stannis, anything showing Stannis, anything known as Stannis. They just kill them all.
So, were you guys a little bit disappointed that we didn't see the battle at all, or did you care?
I don't
because-
think there was a battle.
Well, that's
think it
what
was
I was
pretty
going to
much
say.
they
So there
run them
wasn't much of a battle to see, or there probably wasn't. So did we need to see? Because over in the chat, Gino in the chat saying that the fight sucked. And at first, too, I was thinking, God, that's like Game of Thrones has this thing of not showing us battles. In the first season, there was supposed to be this great battle, but all you saw was the aftermath with Tyrion. It was supposed to be the Lannisters and I can't remember who, but
Like I said, they've been getting
Starks
better,
and the Lannisters.
but they blew their budget on episode 8. That's kind of what happened.
Right.
Episode 8 happened this year, and that's where it went. But it was also, I think, to show that Stannis is completely defeated. People have left him. The Lord of Light is not with him. He was stupid to kill his daughter, and pretty much this is the icing on the cake where he just gets completely destroyed by the Boltons, and they just decimate his
yeah. So there wouldn't have been much
wasn't-
to see.
yeah.
Just it would have just been a big slaughter.
Yeah, I mean,
Pretty
you're looking
much.
at tons of people on horseback running over a bunch of little dudes standing in the snow.
Hey.
You're dead with the cavalry.
I got a quick point. Quick question.
Yeah.
Do you think Sansa put the candle in the window and saw Stannis' army and thought that was the help that was coming?
I don't
Did
think
you guys
so.
think that at all?
I don't think so.
I think she put it up there, and then she was on the move again, and that was about it.
And then there's an army, but she knew that there was a battle taking place. I mean, right? I mean,
Probably because she saw everybody moving around, is my guess. But I don't think she was paying
I
attention.
thought she saw him out the window.
Yeah,
I
I
thought when she
think
put
she
the
did.
kid,
She saw everybody, but I don't think I didn't interpret it that she thought that was the help.
Right.
Oh, I determined.
It's funny.
But I do have a question about that tower, about the candle in the tower. Is that this
It is.
Is that the same tower that Bran fell out of?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised you
the
didn't make
tallest
the
tower.
Spider-Man joke.
Ooh, that would have been that was funny. Picture, yeah.
They were doing what up there? What? One thing though, Stannis is still pretty deadly, even when wounded. He dropped those two guys, came at him like it was nothing. He just straight up got him. Even though he was a goner anyways, he still fought to the very end until Brienne shows up and gives her speech about Renly and kind of takes her vengeance out on Stannis, and that's what she's been wanting to do for a long time. So she kills him, and he's gone, and there is no more Stannis, and we are happy of that. Even though we loved him, we hated him, we loved him, we hated him, and then he's dead.
So, what did you guys think about not seeing him get killed?
I mean,
I guess with George R. R. Martin, yes, it needs to be. We need to proof that they took him out.
Because let me tell you something, we sure as hell saw everybody else in this episode get killed.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Well, I mean, it seems like everybody in the Stannis family gets killed off camera. His daughter, his wife.
Yep.
So it's just family just take the dad out the same way.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So we go through there. It jumps over to Ramsay. He's out there having a blast. It's like it's his birthday. He's just chopping people down. He's just having a good old time. He's like, okay, I think we're done here. Let's ride back. And it clips back to Sansa. She's trying to get out. And what happens? But Crazy Hound's daughter girl Miranda shows up with a bow, and Reek's there being all Reek. And he's like, just go to your room. Definitely go to your room. Definitely go back to your room.
Please go with her.
Right? And she's like, if I go back, he's gonna beat the crap out of me. He knows I'm trying to escape because you're gonna tell him because you're crazy. And she's like, you don't have to worry about it. You can't die, but he is gonna totally beat the crap out of you, but not your special parts. And Miranda's
that was rough. I mean, that was
Miranda's going to Winger, and Reek just had enough right there.
Yep.
She's like, woohoo! And
We
she
found
didn't
out
bounce.
We found out she
She
can't
done
fly.
That's true. And she doesn't bounce on cobblestone.
Mhm.
She doesn't have any dragons that'll save her.
Nope. She wouldn't.
I thought about that scene in The Other Guys. When she's when the Rock and Sam Jackson were
Aim
jumping
for the bushes. Yeah.
He's on the ground. Oh man. Yeah, that was finally we're gonna see some possible redemption. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. And you almost in the end there. Okay, so they know Winterfell, so you know they're not dead. But it's just so funny. They get on the walls like, let's just end it, Thelma and Louise style.
Yeah.
We're going. Woohoo!
Thelma and Louise.
Hold hands, and they're gone.
It's like, I thought it was more Kevin Costner from Robin Hood when he launches himself off
Oh
of
yeah,
the,
exactly across the thing.
and he lands in the hay. When they look down, I was like, oh man, how lucky are they that there's a big wagon full of hay down there? Oh wait, there's not. What are they gonna land on? You know?
Yes, he says. Yes, he did. Tina finally become Theon again. No more Reek. He is now Theon. One more time. Where they jump, Gino, I think they know Winterfell well enough so they could jump off that back wall, maybe hit water, or they know there's a ton of snow piled up there. They know the north, so I'm guessing they know how to get out of there. It may still hurt them, but it's their best bet to get out and hopefully live.
Well, I think
If
Theon.
they stay, they're dead for sure.
Yeah,
okay.
I think Theon knows something because didn't he say, "Do you trust me" or something like that? Like after he threw Miranda off the, he said something. I think.
He may have known something there too. I didn't catch whatever you may have said there. We clip from there. We jump over to. So by the way, they're just killing everybody off in this episode. It's just like we're closing every arc right here. Boom, boom,
So I'm
boom.
saying everybody's dead. There's no show left.
So Sir Meryn Trent's being all creepy with his little girls in there and beating the crap out of them, and he starts beating on one, and one's not making any sound. She's just kind of chilling. Just like, all right, I'm gonna break this little one. Kicks the other two out. Starts going off on her, and who is it? It's old Arya, all sneaky snake. remake. Just kidding.
which I don't catch a lot of stuff in this show. Like I'm kind of Game of Thrones dumb, but I knew that was her. Even when you saw the face and it wasn't her, I knew it was her.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
I didn't think she would disguise herself. Actually, I think that she
Man.
just.
Well, it was cool. She reveals herself anyways, but it's good to have the disguise coming in. But it was she straight up kills him.
Yeah.
She messes him up bad, and kind of her first kill. So she goes back to the House of Black and White. She's
Which-
like, mask up.
Hold on. So,
Yeah.
and actually, they address this later, but I wrote down as she was killing him, and she said, "I'm Arya. Do you know who I am? I'm Arya Stark." And I wrote down, "Isn't Arya supposed to be no one?"
Yes,
But
Yeah.
they
and
addressed that.
like Matt said, they did a big piece at the end about the whole part. Is she's still not learning that she's supposed to be no one. And even is it Jaqen Hagar? Is that his name? The guy there, but he's just a man. He always calls himself a man. That's it.
Yeah.
And so she needs to be treating herself like that, but she just can't let go of all this revenge. And the man kills himself. You think he does, and it's not, and it's the other person, and they're playing Ring Around the Faces. And then Arya starts peeling all these masks off, and it's all these people, and then she sees herself sitting there, and
Total.
She should have kept feeling.
So now Game of Thrones rips off Empire Strikes Back
That's right.
because she took the mask off and she
in
saw
there.
her
it's
face.
herself. Yes.
That was actually the foreshadowing to the tunnel on Dagobah with
There you
the
go.
House of Black and White.
So what's going to happen is it's going to turn out that Jaqen is actually her father.
That's crazy. The story just went really weird.
Yep.
And she loses her eyesight as punishment for what she did.
Wow.
She
And you don't know that. You don't know that for sure that she's totally lost it. You can't
Yes,
say
she
that.
does. It's
Oh, well.
it's in the book.
Well, okay, spoiler alert. Thanks.
Damn it.
I don't have to
Thanks.
watch the show anymore. Thank goodness, because it's the
I
worst
think it
show
was
ever.
pretty obvious when her eyes go milky white, and you're like, "Hey, I guess."
Nothing's obvious in this world.
I thought it was
mean,
conjunctivitis.
You know, it's freaking obvious. It's got White Walker zombie faces that they're killing people too. But that's not obvious.
Yeah,
So
she's
hold on.
blind.
Hold on. So we need to talk about that whole scene for a second, because apparently the faceless the assassins, they can not only take different faces, but they can change their masks.
Yes,
Because it was the little blonde girl behind her, and then all of a sudden it's Big Jaqen behind her. But is there? I just
Sorry, find your words.
Yeah.
It's an emotional
Sorry.
episode. Come on.
Focus.
So okay, so I thought that they were just originally like masters of disguise and master assassins and things like that. But are they shrouded in like mysticism? And because she just kept pulling the faces off, and the faces were just like
So yes, there is magic
lit-
there.
okay.
But even from the books, it talks about there is a little bit of magic. It's like Stannis using blood magic, and then you have the Ice Walkers and the White Walkers, all that stuff. There is magic in the world, in the House of Black and White and the many-faced God. Yes, there's magic there. So yes, there's a little bit of magic and mysticism to it because they only have the faces there, but they can still, they change their entire look, their muscle
Yeah.
structure, their weight,
Yeah.
everything just
Yeah.
changes when they wear the mask.
Tina
So-
said the voice too. Everything just.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, everything
total
changes.
disguise.
So there is magic built into it. So, well, anyways, we go past, go ahead.
You just can't have skin hanging around. I mean, seriously, there's got to be something else. I mean, it's like,
Well, that's a refrigerated room. A
yeah, okay,
it must be.
It's a very big refrigerator.
Gino said that Jaqen looked funny as shit in that dress.
Yeah.
Like after
Yeah, it's like, please, could this be like total gear that can change as well? Standing in a dress.
he looks down after the big reveal, he says, "Well, this is embarrassing."
My dress is
Totally
too short.
should have picked
Oh,
a different
God.
person to come back as. Whoops.
Oh god.
So we go from there. We go to Dorne, and we have Dorne letting Jamie and Tristane and Marcella all go.
Which did me and Travis and I were talking about this. Is anybody else thrown off by the fact that I'll call him the King of Dorne. I don't know what the actual title is, but the lead guy in Dorne, his name is Doran. Dorne from Dorne.
Listen, Dorne from Dorne, it's come from the long line of Dorne and Shorn families.
That drives me nuts. That's like saying, "Hi, I'm Matt from Mitt," or
Matt from Mattville. So
Matt-
cool. Anyway, so beside the terrible name, he lets Jamie, Tristan, and Marcel. He's like, "Hey, go have fun at King's Landing. Sit on the small council. Be cool. Love you guys." Laurie comes up. She's like, "Hey, sorry about all the trouble." Sends her on her way. We get to the boat and they're going along, and Jamie reveals, "Hey, sometimes your dad might be your uncle. I don't know if you may know that in the world. And stuff, right?
You never know.
And life happens. You love who you love." Okay?
Well, and it's funny because
All tinkly down there, and
he says now that you've been in Dorne and you've been
met Dorne.
basically he's alluding to the fact that she's been exposed to other cultures and things like that, and Dorne is in the South. So I'm just saying that
I think it was more of, "Hey, you found this person completely on the other side of the world to fall in love with. Isn't it weird how you could just fall in love with anybody?"
yeah.
Oh wait, by the way, I love your mom and she's my sister. Is that cool? I think it's kind of where it was going with that. And she's like, "Don't worry, Dad. We all knew it."
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird.
She's like, remember, worst kept secret ever. We've said it every week. Everybody knows, including the kids.
Right.
Everybody knows.
So they give each other a big father-daughter hug. The music plays from Growing Pains as the moment ends. And boom, nosebleed out of nowhere.
oh,
Dead as a door now. Dead. And clips back over to the Sand Snakes, and Illyria's sitting over there on the dock, and she starts bleeding from her nose. She takes the antidote, and that's it. Marcel's dead.
Once again, I'm going to say I'm pretty Game of Thrones dumb. Totally knew what happened the minute she kissed her. I was like,
Yes.
poison. You can't fool me. I know what's happening. I know what's coming.
You're slick, man. You got this.
as far as that conversation goes with Jamie, do you think that, like, when he had the conversation with the Sand Snake lady or whatever, and she's like, your relationship with your sister, if it was in Dorne, like, nobody would even blink an eye. Do you think he was like thinking, well, she's been exposed to Dorne, so there's just people doing everything. So, maybe people love
Maybe
who
she's
they
cool with
love because, and she was cool with it.
You're still trying to, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I love how you're still trying to defend Jimmy. So maybe she's around people that sleep with their relatives or something. And she's like, "Hey, that's cool stuff." Hey, the Targaryens, all through their whole reign of almost 300 years, they slept with each other and they wed each other because they didn't want to mix the blood. So it's not a weird thing in Westeros to marry your sister. We call it South Thoros.
Alabamos.
Alabama.
Mississippos. For Travis. So we go from there. Oh, go ahead.
Daniel, so Mirren M. Gaines in the chat says, didn't Marcella survive in the book? Just got her ear lobbed off.
Maybe. I don't know that.
Okay, well.
You got to remember, so...
Hey guys, next season we need to get a Game of Thrones expert on the show.
Right. So you have everybody going to the same conclusion, but the show is taking a different lead way to get to that. So storylines have changed. Like they're not bringing in, I think it's young Griff, and they're not bringing in the Stone Woman, and there's characters that are left out, and other characters taking parts. There's parts that haven't happened in the book that have happened in the show with Shireen, things like that. So they're kind of switching things around. It's not going to be perfect across the board, and they're kind of taking their own leadways as long as they get to the conclusion the same way that they're supposed to.
It's like it's like with The Walking Dead. Like when I tell people about.
Oh, you mean that show about zombies?
Right. Well, it's like when I tell people about what happened in the book or what happened in The Walking Dead, the comics. I'm always careful to tell them, that it absolutely is not necessarily what's going to happen here. They're doing their own thing. Here's what's happened in the book, but you never know what's going to happen in the show. So
they'll hit the major beats along the way,
right?
But they'll get there in different ways. So
Tim's got his hand up.
Tim, you're muted.
He's muted.
So you can chat quietly.
All right, Maester.
Tim's been talking for the last half hour.
No, not really. I just looked this up. Maester Kelliot saves their life, but Marcella does get her ear lobbed off in the books.
There you go.
So yes.
Now again, it didn't show her completely die. It showed her nose bleeding, falling over, and Jamie holding her. Again, we don't know. But it was a pretty good idea. She'd be dead.
Oh yeah, and don't forget. Hey Tina, thanks for the reminder. Don't forget the cute exchange between Braun and
That was
Sand Snake
excellent.
Girl, yes. It's like, hey, you want to go with me, man?
yeah, he's like, hey, I'll text you.
Listen,
You know,
She's like,
Chat.
I know you love those Dornish women.
hang
Text
out
later.
me.
she's like, look, he's like, I've got a noble woman to
webcam?
marry back home, but are you on Snapchat?
Yeah, it's like seriously, Snapchat, you'll never know.
You got Skype? Anything? We can just
Snapchat me.
so we can be together.
Listen,
and I
we'll
can see
FaceTime.
you. Good. Anyway, you can show me your boobs one more time before we get out of here.
Seriously, just a quick flash, and we'll be on my way.
Hey, let me get my phone. Okay, here, just click. Okay.
There you go.
So it goes from there. We go back. Well, actually, we go to Marine. We have Tyrion and Jorah and Dario sitting around like, what the heck just happened? I don't even know. I was at a cool show.
I was thinking, it's like they woke up after a hangover like at night. It's like,
They're all holding their heads. They're like,
where did she go? Who did I sleep
Right.
with?
Yeah.
You.
I know. I love. I mean, Tyrion was my favorite because he's like,
right.
and he's like, hey guys, did you guys see that?
You
guys
gotta
see
go to a
that?
show in the middle of the day, just have a good time, and then what?
She flew on a dragon. Did you guys see that? That's crazy.
Whisper to him like he's not even talking loud. Did you see what happened?
The flame with the fire, and it was hot. It was hot.
It's crazy. So
That guy. Did you see the one guy?
So they're sitting there bantering back and forth, and Dario's like, hey, we need to go find our queen. Like, stat. We don't know where she went. Drogon really doesn't have GPS, so he doesn't know where he went either.
They don't have the Find My Dragon app.
He's on Fifth and Elm somewhere. I don't even know. He's just nowhere near us. We gotta go. So Dario's like, let's roll. Me, you, and Jorah starts yelling at Tyrion's like, you're stupid. No, you're stupid. Why are you here? Why are you here? And yada yada yada, back and forth. Dario says, Tyrion, you can't go.
Or
Right? You're not tall enough to ride this ride, so you stay here. Grey Worm and Missandei come out, but there's a good point there. All those Grey Worm needs to stay because he's in charge of the Unsullied, and he is totally loved by the Queen, and she will go by his word, and they'll know he speaks what the Queen wants. He needs to stay. Plus, he's hurt. He can't really do anything. Tyrion can't really go. He's Tyrion. He needs to stay too. He's a smart guy.
He's a sot.
Right, and Missandei needs to stay because she's the most trusted person that Daenerys has. That's her right-hand person right there. So, yes, they need to stay. Dario and Jorah, go out. Go do your thing. Tyrion watches with loving eyes as they leave, and out comes Varys from the shadows like, hey, my spies are still working. Stuff, I knew you were here. And then
Hey. Gee, I wonder who could run this city.
Right, I love
Gee.
Boy, if there was only a person who was in a place with all kinds of just deceit and terribleness and everything. Oh yeah, that King's Landing. I wonder if there was a good hand of a king there. So they kind of banter back and forth, and they're like, "Yeah, we got this." And then they high five and freeze frame in the air, and it's like, "Yeah."
So I wrote down a note about that whole thing. What was the hand of the Queen? What's her name?
Missandei?
Yeah, Missandei. Thank you. So we now have a we now have a new show to add to our TGIF lineup. So first you've got Sam and Gilly.
Always start with the family friendly.
Right. So at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. you've got Sam and Gilly and their adventures with a new baby. Let's go to the library. Okay. That's from 8 to 8:30. From 9 to 10, you've got Jamie and Braun buddy cop show. Your mouth's writing checks that your body can't cash. But between that, new mid-season pickup is a new show about Tyrion, Grey Worm, and Missandei trying to two guys, a girl, and a kingdom.
There you go. Yes.
We take a Lannister and put it with some people from Essos, and we'll see how they make the city go.
And then you've got Varys as the plucky neighbor who just busts in the door. Whoa! You guys need any spies? Okay, I'm out. I'll see you.
there was a skit on the old MTV series The State called The Jew, the Italian, and the Redhead Gay, and it had a real like all kinds of things. I was thinking the same thing. The dwarf and
Awesome. I think we have our old TGIF now. It's
So you can fill a 2-hour TGIF block with characters from Games of Thrones. And I'll tell you what, nobody's going to die in any of those shows. So I'll watch them.
So we go from there after we get out of TGIF. We go from there, we head over to Danny and Drogon in the middle of nowhere because his GPS sucks. And he's just like, I flew us here. I've been stabbed. I'm staying right here. I'm not going anywhere. You can try to climb on my back. I'm just going to throw you off.
I'm just going to throw you off because I'm a freaking dragon and you're a little girl.
then he went.
After a long flight and after all that he ate sitting there, you're gonna have some gas. So Danny's like, you saved my life, but you took me to nowhere with no food, no nothing. Thank you, Drogon. You're the worst dragon ever. And she starts walking down the hill. And
well, hold on. So, hold on. Before you get there.
Yeah.
So, Danny's being kind of a bitch because she's like, Drogon, we need to get out of here. And he's like, my fucking wing. I've got holes in me.
Licking my wound here.
I know. He's like bleeding. He's like gushing blood out of his wing. And she's like, hey, we got to go. We got to go. It's like when you're driving down the road with your girlfriend or something, and your car gets a flat, and the oil pressure goes away or something.
Wow. Mechanic talk there.
Yeah.
Until he's a car guy.
No, like your
the blood of the engine.
okay, your fan belt breaks. How about that?
Okay.
And you got the hood open, and there's smoke coming out, and you're sitting there trying to fix it, and you're trying to change the tire, and your girl's like, "We got dinner. We got dinner reservations. Come on, we gotta go." And he's like, "I'm trying to fix the car." Drogon's that same way. He's like, "My wings are broken. I have no feet." And
how many spirits did you take?
Exactly. How many spirits to the face did you take? Because I took a bunch. Shut up.
He just rolls over and lays down. He doesn't even care. It's like, I've already told you, shut up. I'm a dragon. Shut up. I don't care.
He lays on her.
Right.
Yeah, he does.
Like, get off my back. No, shut up, muffles her, and he just lays down. He's like, I don't want to hear it. Oh my God, just go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Just shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Big Lou in the chat. Drogon's like, "Hey, why don't you fly us somewhere?" Oh wait.
Yeah, he's like, let me get on your back.
Oh, that's awesome. Why don't you breathe fire? Oh, wait, you're not a dragon. Shut up. Oh,
You breathe fire and kill people.
I can't sing. Oh, God, that was good.
Okay, anyway.
Holy shut the stream down. All right. 10-second break. We gotta regain our composure.
Station identification, folks.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry.
This is
We're sorry, guys.
We're going to take a second to...
Listen. This was the worst episode in the history of any TV ever, so we have to get some joy out of it, okay? Because we're gonna get to a sad part later, and there's gonna be different tears coming out.
Okay, so let's get back.
Try to do something like inward singing.
So she gets down the mountain by some magical way.
Right.
And she's walking around, and
I'm pretty sure Drogon threw her off the mountain.
all of a sudden, in an open field with just a mountain behind you, 1 gajillion Dothraki come out of nowhere.
Not from nowhere, from every direction.
From every They were standing in front of her the whole time. It's just
Hey, let me tell you one thing. The Dothrakis have GPS now because they knew where the hell they were going, apparently.
That's right. But they had that ambush set just right for that one girl. They brought the entire world to take her down. But they were there, man. They were ready. Oh. So anyways, moving up from that, nothing really crazy there. She's back in Dothraki country, yada, yada, yada. We go to Cersei. She's in prison. She's still, getting the crap kicked out of her, drinking water when she can. And she finally decides she's going to confess. So she goes in front of the High Sparrow, tells him, yeah, I slept with your lackey out of wedlock. My bad. He's like, well, what about your children? What about those? She's like, whatever. No, I didn't sleep with my brother. That's gross.
Gross.
Yeah.
What
Stannis
do you
is
think
just-
I am from, Dorne? Jeez.
She tells
This
him,
isn't the South. This isn't the dirty South.
That's right. Stannis Baratheon is, filling these people full of lies. It's all crap, yada, yada, yada.
And
He's like,
hold on real quick. We can make those South jokes, or I can because I'm in the South, so I've
so
earned it.
it's totally
I've
fine,
earned it.
yeah.
And Tim's in the South too, so
I'm in the South.
well, you're like
Don't
the
bring me into
northern
this.
part of the South. So
Yeah. So she confesses the one sin. He tells her, well, we'll see what happens at your trial. She's like, whoa, I just confessed everything to you. He's like, no, you didn't. You confessed one sin, and now you have to atone for that, and I'll let you go back to King's Landing or go back to the keep. And she's like, atone? Whoa, I just told you my secret. One of them, at least.
Hang on just a second. Miriam M. Gaines asked, is that the wedding ring? I think it was more about being a breadcrumb for somebody to find her
Yes.
than
Yes.
the fact that it
Yeah.
what type
When
of
she
ring
drops
it was.
that is for Dario and Jorah.
well,
hopefully.
yeah. So they mentioned that at the end of the episode in the behind the scenes stuff. They mentioned that she drops the ring to, like Tim said, as a breadcrumb so that people could find her. But I too thought the same thing, Miriam. I thought that it was some kind of symbol that she's. I thought it was something that she's thinking if they find this, they'll know that that I'm used to be married to Drogo, or so. I thought it was something
At
that
first
she
I
didn't
thought
want them
that
to
as well,
see.
yeah.
Well,
But-
well, if she ends up being found that she was married to Gross, she's supposed to go where the widow wails or whatever. There's some place where the widows go of all the Dothraki leaders or whatever after the Dothraki leader has died or whatever in Dothraki custom. So it could have been something like that. But yeah, they explain at the end that it's just a breadcrumb. So we go back to Cersei. She's not admitting everything. She confesses one sin. He's like, okay, that's fine. But you're still going to have to atone. And sorry about that. But I'll let you live at the keep. But you're going to have to atone for your sin. She's like,
Yeah.
okay.
And
And then it goes to just crazy, just whacking her hair off. She's bleeding from the back of her neck. Just
I was going
washed
to say,
down.
like, yeah, he just gave her a ticket to Anella's day spa where you get bathed. And here's some supercut coupons.
That wasn't bathing. That was exfoliating. I think.
So yes, they
Sorry, Miriam just said what about the ring? What's Jorah gonna do? Walk around with a metal detector?
Yeah.
he may. That's what Grayscale does.
Right.
So yes, she's like hair's chopped off, brought out to the streets, clothing ripped off. She's naked, no shoes, has to walk all the way to the keep, and then if you're naked in King's Landing, everybody has to get naked in front of you.
Apparently.
It seems like a legit thing that
It's a
happens.
party in
Right.
Flea Bottom.
Right.
Orgy time.
There's a lot.
Right.
There was a lot of wiener in this episode that I didn't need to see. You know,
There's a lot of man wiener thrown out there for a while there. It's kinda
because you
weird.
know every time at the beginning of any game the beginning of any HBO show, when you see nudity, you know you're like, oh right, nudity in this one. But no, I didn't want this kind.
Yeah. Fair enough. There was other kind. I mean, Cersei. I gotta give it to the actor.
Yeah.
Whether it was her or whether it was a body double at points within that, which it could have been, and
No,
or
it was-
whether she just decided, yes, I'm going to do this scene and I'm going to go straight up full nudity through this whole entire scene.
she did nudity in 300. So it's not like she's not done it before.
Right.
But it's interesting because we talked a while back about at the beginning of the season about how the actress who plays Daenerys and Marjorie, like they don't now that they're up and coming actors, they don't
they don't do it anymore.
they don't seem like they're doing nudity anymore on this show. But Lena Headey has done it before, and she's been in lots of shows. She's probably
Well, there's lots of actresses that will do it all the time, like Kate
Right.
Winslet. There is, what's the other one from? I just had her in my head. Julianne Moore does it more often now in movies than she did beforehand. Although in Boogie Nights she was naked in that as well. But some of the older actresses, they just do that. It's just part of their thing. That's what they do. And then some of these younger ones are like, nope, I'll do it once. That's it. I'm done. You know, kind of thing. But yeah, I'm impressed that she decided she was going to do that whole scene. If it was actually her the whole time, just straight naked, that was awesome. Goes through, gets to the keep, gets inside. Maester Pycelle, her uncle Kevin is standing there, and they're like, don't really care what happened to you. Qyburn comes out, is like, throws the cloth over her and tells her, I'm so sorry. And then in comes Frankenstein's monster.
yes.
So the project worked, and the mountain is back. but now it's Frankenstein's monster. And it says at the end of the episode too, when they're discussing that scene, how in Cersei's eyes when he's carrying her off, that just like there's vengeance there and she's ready to kill.
Yeah, you can see that. So I thought that this was going to go in a little different direction because she. Okay, let me ask you this. When she was standing there, they ripped her clothes off, but before she started to walk, she looked up. She was looking at the castle, wasn't she?
Right,
Because
yeah.
I thought she was at first, and this is where I am Game of Thrones dumb. Like there was all this like smoke coming up, and I thought that was like some kind of signal for something to happen. But she was just looking at her destination. Saying,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
She just kept her eye on the prize
Yeah.
as she walked through the street.
But
Small
yeah,
stuff.
she definitely. But where I thought it was going was she wanted to see her son, the king. I thought she was going to actually get to him in this episode and tell him, listen, you have got to give the order to kill all these sumbitches because they've humiliated me. But I guess, and maybe we'll get that next season, but that's kind of what I thought was going to happen now.
Well, Mirren, you're talking about writing into the 6 books. There was oral sex supposedly in book 5 with Ramsay and Reek and Sansa in that whole issue. So the rape scene happened in the series, which was rough enough to see. But in that episode, there was supposed to be a point, well, in the book, Ramsay tells Reek to get her going. And Reek goes down on Sansa
Whoa.
in the
Yikes.
book before
Spoilers.
Ramsay rapes her. So there is that in the book as well. So I saw your post there about that with her and Baelish, but that's already happened in book 5 with Sansa. Not her giving, but receiving in a very bad way. So, so we go from there to the part that has destroyed Matt's psyche and killed everyone who was a Game of Thrones fan for the last 5 seasons. It has completely demolished everything they thought and the person they loved. Well, Jon Snow's there reading some. Oh no, wait! It starts with Jon fighting with Davos about men and food and all this stuff, and he's like, "No, I don't have the men. I don't have the things. The wildlings won't go with you. They're not mine to direct." He's like, "Well, if they're going to live here, they need to." Melisandre shows up. Davos and Jon go to her. They talk to her for a second, and she says absolutely nothing, pretty much revealing to them that everybody was wiped out. They're all dead. They're gone. Stannis is dead. The army's dead. Shireen is dead.
Which that's a pretty lofty. Well, I guess it's not that lofty, but I mean, she at that point she's still kind of assuming because she left before the battle
That's
even
true.
happened.
But she knows about Shireen, and she's left. I think she knew it right when the person came up and said, "Your cell swords and your horses are all gone." And you
She's like-
saw it in her face. She's like,
See ya.
"You bet on the wrong horse here."
Well, so okay,
Morlight does not like you.
so let's talk about Melisandre for a minute. So Travis and I were having a big conversation throughout the week about Melisandre and how he thinks that she's kind of a fraud because. I mean, obviously, there's something to her because she gave birth to a smoke baby.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that,
No.
but
It is not the recorded history yet. We haven't
But
seen
so
Oh,
you know,
it's
so back when they used the leeches on Gendry, you know, they had 3 leeches and but only two of the targets died. I can't remember what else we were talking about. But basically, the point of it was everything that she claims to be able to do. And you know, using royal blood and killing Shireen because it'll do this, like doing all this stuff because the Lord of Light wants it that way. Like all this stuff that's happened he said that he kind of thinks it's just coincidence. You know, it's like, okay, so you killed Shireen so that the Lord of Light would melt the snow. Well, maybe that was just coincidence that the weather got warm or something. You know, I mean, that melted the snow. I mean, do you really think that she's mystical and magical, or is she a fraud?
There's a lot of religions that are through Westeros, but the 2 main ones is the Lord of, and this goes through Essos as well, is the Lord of Light and the Dark Other. The Dark Other is supposedly the Lord of the White Walkers, and the Lord of Light is this other one, and it's of course one is based in fire and one is based in ice. So you have that kind of that opposites thing hitting just like a Song of Ice and Fire, which is the name of the series. So no, she can do stuff. She uses blood magic. She has magical powers, things like that. So did the other red priest who was with the Free Company, the band of brothers or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
The non-band brothers, banners, whatever. Wow. Anyways, he kept bringing the one guy back to life.
Yes.
She has power because she can see visions, but her power isn't like, well, It is, and I'll explain that a little bit later. So they both could do the same exact things. So this other guy keep bringing this guy back to life, blah blah blah, because he wants the Lord of Light. He thinks the Lord of Light needs him, so he keeps bringing him back to life. Melisandre really believes that Stannis is, and this is where it's going to get a little book nerdy here, guys. Thinks Stannis is Azor Ahai. Azor Ahai is a name given to the last hero of Westeros who stopped the Long Night, which the Long Night was hundreds of years of darkness and cold and everything, and it stopped the White Walkers when they first came. So this last hero is called Azor Ahai. Azor Ahai has a bunch of these premonitions that have to happen before Azor Ahai is reborn. Melisandre thinks that Stannis is Azor Ahai, so she throws all her eggs in that basket saying he is it. So I'm going to do everything I can. Why is not everything working? I need to kill more royal blood to do more stuff for him. And at this point, it's like, okay, I gave it all. He's not getting the love. I'm gonna go. So,
oh man, I got a thing. I just forgot. Oh yeah, that's what Melisandre's saying.
So Azor Ahai is the name of the new. There's supposed to be a bunch of prophecies that take place. So this is going to go into what happened at the very end of this episode, where if all of you have seen, I'm sure you all has. Jon Snow is killed.
Nope, didn't happen. That's it. Anyway, that's it for the episode. Thanks for watching. You can find us on.
Under the premonitions and the predictions of the Azor Ahai, there are two people that totally fill those predictions, one more than the other, and those two is Jon Snow and Daenerys Stormborn, or Daenerys Targaryen. First of all, they have to be born under a bleeding star, and they have to be born under salt and smoke. So Daenerys, you could say, did that. She walked into fire, which is the smoke. She's born under a bleeding star due to the fact of the comet, and the salt is from the tears of the people that cried at the time that she walked into the fire. She was reborn because there has to be a sacrifice. That sacrifice was her husband, Khal Drogo, and her baby, which brought forth the three dragons. So there's all this that links Daenerys to being Azor Ahai, the hero of champions, whatever. That's what she's supposed to be. There's one other person that matches all these descriptions, and that person is Jon Snow.
Uh-oh.
So, in the books, Jon Snow gets killed, and his wound is smoking. The salt could come from the tears of the people around that see him die, and he is born under a bleeding star, and I forget the name of the bannerman at the time, but his sigil or whatever is bleeding over his sigil, which shows a star. Melisandre has the power to bring people back to life. Just like all the other...
Yay! Jon Snow's not dead.
The Lord of Light. No, it's not been confirmed. This is all theory crap.
Shut up, Dan. Jon Snow's not dead. He's coming back.
Just said it.
Don't ruin this for me. I need this.
There you go. Myra, he says that her res is off cooldown. It's off cooldown. So she's got to wait.
Listen, somebody just give him a Phoenix Down.
Now,
He'll be
Jon
fine.
also, within Book 5, is talked about it being a powerful warg, and he doesn't know it. And in the book, the last thing he whispers is ghost, and thinking that his spirit jumps from his dead body to ghost, and therefore he's not there with his body anymore. So, yes, Jon Snow dies, but now he can be reborn as Azor Ahai. Due to the fact that he has died and he's reborn, he died under smoke and salt, and he is died under a bleeding star. The other things it says you have to be able to hold Lightbringer, which is a sword. If you remember in some of the earlier episodes when Stannis is first brought around, they're burning the seven gods, and he pulls a flaming sword from the fire, and he's waving that around. That's a fake Lightbringer. That's not a true sword. But that's why Melisandre's so into Stannis. She's like, he's got to be the one. He's the dude. This is the guy I'm putting all my money behind. So that's fake, but people say that Jon Snow, his Lightbringer is not actually an actual sword. It is messed up through history or whatever, that the Night's Watch is his weapon because they are the light in the darkness, and they say this within their oaths when they talk about the wall and everything like that. The other part is Daenerys, her sword could be her dragon. So there's her Lightbringer. That is what brings light to her. So that's why these two people are like, hey, both the premonitions are kind of showing these two. These two could be, one of them could be Azor Ahai. Or they both could be, because there's a three-headed dragon within this as well, and that's more into it.
God, what a nerd.
Yeah, for real. You're welcome. I'm a nerd. There was something else I was going to say. The reason Jon was killed, there is no reason to hold... yes, some of the Night's Watch hated him, but John was doing everything wrong that could be done for a Night's Watch person. He was working with Stannis and giving him battle commandments.
You shut your mouth. Dorothy Mantooth is a saint.
He was giving them food and supplies. He was bringing the wildlings to the wall. He was doing everything that the Night's Watch is completely against. They have been building this up all season long. He has done nothing that the Night's Watch would do. So they, as the Night Watch, said, you cannot be our Lord Commander. He even says it in this episode, I am the worst Lord Commander ever because I've done everything I'm not supposed to be doing as a Night's Watch person. And that's why he is killed at the end of this. So you have to take that into consideration. Yes, Ollie stabs him, but Ollie's also, his family has fought against the wildlings for years and years and years. You can't change people overnight when those, for the thousands of years, these are the people you're supposed to be fighting.
Don't try to justify this, Dan. Okay? Nothing you can say makes this okay. Whose side are you on?
There's one of the reasons why
man crushes over.
There's two other things.
I bet you want the White Walkers to win the whole battle, don't you?
You want to talk about that? The White Walkers may not be the bad guys.
Whoa!
You want to go there?
Mind blown.
Yeah.
Dogs and cats living together.
Mass hysteria.
So, Jon Snow is a Stark, and supposedly the 13th Lord Commander is a Stark as well, and he ends up sleeping with one of the knights, or one of the White Walkers, whatever, and they have children or whatever, and he loses his soul to her. Blah, blah, blah. Go on. So there is a huge connection between the cold, the north, the ice, with the Starks. So there's your ice. There's a huge connection with R plus L equals J, which is Jon, who is Targaryen, who is fire, hot, all that down there. Fire and ice. Boom. There's your guy, Azor Ahai. That's why Jon can't be dead. There's also a moment in the series, too, where it talks earlier where Sam looks at Ollie and says, Jon always comes back, Ollie. You don't have to worry about him. He's always back. And that's a nod to everybody who's read through Book 5 to say, he's going to be back. Don't worry about it. He'll be there.
So he's not dead.
No. In my opinion, he is not dead. He has been torn up, messed up, and and I think Melisandre's going to bring it back to life. So
Matt puts the Jon Snow plushie back up on the desk.
He's got his life-size pillow up in his bed.
Yeah.
So I don't need to cancel my order of the Jon Snow Funko.
No.
You don't have to stab your pillow tonight. That's Jon Snow. This is for the Night's Watch.
I do want to let me scroll. Myron in the chat is talking about. I think when we were talking about Melisandre bringing back Jon Snow. So it says now she's going to be a stage 5 clinger to Jon, and Jon's technically free of his vows to the Watch as well. Technically, once you die, it's over.
One of the cheers. Yeah, I'm reading back through these guys as well, and since he's so Nazi about his own Watch, yeah, that's true.
Caroline, my sister in the chat.
There was a reason why he was killed, and that was the reason. Is he's not a very good Lord Commander. He did everything he
Shut
wanted.
up, Dan. He's the best Lord Commander. He totally
he did the right things. Don't get me wrong.
He would be the best king of Westeros. Shut up.
Even Alistair comes by and says, Jon, you have a good heart, and it's going to get us all killed. Because you're doing, yes, we understand you're doing right, but you're doing wrong all the way through.
The best.
Bad.
So my sister in the chat, she said, he's only mostly dead. So, if you've seen The Princess Bride, he's only mostly dead.
I was waiting for him to be laying there and him to whisper ghost. I was wondering if they were going to put that in the episode. And man, they just let him bleed out. They're just like, So they're going to go with the whole Melisandre bringing him back to life, I think, instead of him warging over to Ghost and his spirit being there before his body's brought back. So I think, again, this is all theory crafting through everything that's online. According to the end of the book of 5, he's dead. But there's 2 people that could be the hero, and it's Jon or Daenerys.
Wait, so full transparency, we say it every week. I have never read one word out of any of the books. But how far past where we are now are the books?
I think they've kind of wrapped everything. There's only a few storylines that may. Shireen doesn't die in book 5, but George Martin said, yes, that's something that probably would have happened. Again, storylines leading to their final arcs and finishing, they got there is not as important as getting to that point.
But I'm just talking about, are there other books that are way past this, or is the show starting to catch up? Obviously there's some stuff that's different, but is the show
He's only done 5 books. Supposedly, the 6th book will be out at the end of this season, if I'm not mistaken, sometime this summer. There's also the history of Westeros, which is a whole kind of building his lore and kind of filling in the gaps of everything that's happened up to this point and past it. And then there's the stories of Dunk and Egg, and there's some other off stories that he's done, which he's going to do a lot of other things for. But no, for A Song of Ice and Fire, book 5 is the last one out, A Dance with Dragons. The next one is it's something with winter, and I forget the name.
The next one's called Jon Snow is Not Dead.
Right. It was like you have a Game of Thrones, and I'm probably going to get these out of order, so I'm sorry. A Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords, A Feast for Crows, A Dance with Dragons, and then this last one is, again, another one that kind of has that rhythm. I have a pentameter of whatever that is. So it's something about winter, but I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. So yeah, there you go. That's it.
Myron's asking, where's the show with River Run?
Where's the show with River Run? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I thought it meant like where I. Never mind. Myron, what are you talking about?
You just confused everybody.
So I hope Jon Snow comes back because I was pissed.
I couldn't tell.
I mean,
I couldn't tell.
he's like my favorite character, and he can't.
He's so funny.
He just can't be dead.
We've been watching this series over there. We got through, I think it was the Red Wedding.
Yeah,
He was like, Matt and Opie were... Matt and Opie were mad after Eddard Stark died in the first season.
He's not dead either. He's gonna come back.
They were like, screw this show, and yet they kept watching.
Yeah.
Then the Red Wedding, I was like, screw this show, and yet they kept watching. Winds of Winter, thank you very much. That's the name of the next book. And the whole time after that, I knew about Jon Snow dying, and I was wondering if they were going to hit that beat on this episode. And so when they went back to the Night's Watch at the end of this episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to do it. They're going to do it right here.
Here it goes.
I was just like, Matt is going to get so mad.
I hope when he does come back as Azor Ahai and has like fire god powers, that he sets the entire Night's Watch ablaze. Especially
it's
that
just the name of a hero. That's
that little effer Ollie. They need to string him up by his toes. They need to send him to the Flame Inn and have him skinned alive. That little bastard.
Really? Because I think he was being pretty loyal to the Night's Watch.
He was not being loyal to Jon Snow, which is bad to me.
Go on.
That's not good at all to me. So
Yeah.
So Myron's saying, isn't River Run still there, just holding a defensive position, still
River
opposing
Run's
the
still
land?
there. I mean, it's under. It would be under the Eyrie, correct? With Littlefinger or the Blackfish or whatever his name is. Catelyn's brother or uncle is now in charge of River Run. They're just kind of
I
stepping.
thought, wasn't River Run? I was thinking that was Walder Frey place.
No, that's the twins.
Oh yeah.
Walder Frey's the twins. So yeah, something Blackfish is his name, but he's now the head of River Run. Catelyn's dad was in charge of it, but then there's no story there right now that I know of. So yeah, I'm really not understanding the whole sleeping with White Walkers things. It was something that happened long ago. Don't worry about it. That's how they try to make a connection with the White Walkers and the Starks and how there's some kind of pact there. So if you want to know the story of how the White Walkers are actually good guys and not really bad guys, the pact between these people with the last hero, some say that the theory is that they made a pact with the White Walkers. The White Walkers stay up here. We'll stay down here. We won't bother you. You don't bother us. Well, the wildlings kept being back there, and more people kept going beyond the wall and things like that. And now it's gotten to a point where the White Walkers are like, whoa, you guys have just broke the pact with us. We're coming down, and we're going to put the smackdown on you.
Yeah, we're going to eat you.
Yeah. So it pretty much is like, okay, so who was the bad guy? Who was the good guy? Right there. Maybe the pact is being broken by actually the humans and not really the White Walkers themselves. And again, we still haven't seen Bran's whole story, which is a whole different thing that's going to be happening.
My gosh.
His stuff's going to get crazy.
Yeah, Bran. There's a whole. He's living in a tree.
He's got other magic, which is a green seer.
Well, that means if Melisandre can't bring Jon Snow back, then Bran will.
Bran, I don't think has that kind of power.
Bran's living in a tree with the Keeler elves making cookies.
The children of the forest. They're like 200 years old, man. They're not, they're not actually kids.
So Myron's asking what's happening with Catelyn, but
They
isn't it
removed
confirmed
her.
that that's not whatever
not
happened in
gonna
the book's not going to happen?
Correct. They she was supposed to be the stone woman or the stone something or whatever. She has been removed. They're not doing that part. They talked about that they may move Sansa into that position a little bit because of the way she's acting, because her story kind of peters out a little bit too. Because that whole thing that's happening with her was actually a different story. It's like fake Arya happening here, which makes Jon and them attack on Winterfell, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole other story they completely cut out. And they're using Sansa in that position because she's still supposed to be at the area with Littlefinger. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's changed. So you can't really follow the books in the series the same way. So. And Tina's about to pee her pants, so that is time to go, guys. We gotta let Tina pee. So,
Well, what's up? But what about? So, just real quick. So, overall, the entire season as a whole, where did this rank for you guys in relation to other seasons, or what did you feel about the season in general? I mean, I thought I liked it. I thought it was actually not a lot happened because it seems like every time we did one of these shows, we kept saying, "Oh, it's just more setup, more setup, more setup," and then I mean, I guess the payoff was that everybody died in this
we
episode
had
except for
three
Jon Snow.
major episodes right here at the end of the season.
Right. Well, and I'm not saying nothing happened, but I mean, I think it feels like I don't know. I mean, it feels like a lot of it was just I don't know. It almost feels like the entire season was set up for even bigger things to come, which sounds crazy, but there just weren't as many jaw drop except for freaking the end of this last episode. This episode doesn't feel like there was as many jaw dropping moments as there normally are, but I mean overall, I thought it was still.
I disagree with you. I think there were like major jaw-dropping moments. Daenerys flying on a dragon, the White Walkers attacking Hardhome, the Jon Snow being killed. Those are three huge moments of jaw-dropping. Every other season's like Oberyn got killed. Okay, that sucked. Red Wedding. Holy crap! One episode. That's all that happened. You know, Ned Stark lost his head. Oh God. Okay, one episode. Again, one major point. So every season has like one thing. This has built up 6 episodes to give you huge payoff from 7 on, and that's what made this season, I think, one of the better seasons of all of them. It's because it's got so much payoff towards the end. Okay.
There you go.
All right. So yes, I rank this high of the seasons, and I like it. The further we go, the better the story gets because we're getting into stuff that I have not read. So this is going to be really, really fun.
So the nerd hat comes off.
The nerd head.
Oh, I'll still tell you history of Westeros. I'll preach history to
For those
you.
in the chat wanting a tattoo, there's the tattoo right there. Jon Snow lives.
Backwards. Sorry.
Is it? No, it's right. It's right on the stream. I hope it's
is
right
it?
to me.
Well, we haven't got to that point in the stream.
Yeah.
So, there.
It's all right.
So anyways, Tina loved season 5. That's awesome. I did too. I thought it was one of the better ones. I can't think of any of the others off the top of my head. The Red Wedding season was awesome. But yeah, probably this one of the top ones I've done.
Well, this one. So we talked. Of course, this one had the giant battle with the White Walkers, though. So that was pretty epic. Last season had the big battle at the Wall.
The Wall, which was pretty epic.
Which that episode, because that whole episode was that whole episode was just that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty great too.
It's so funny because I remember last year we watched it, and it was the one right after the Oberyn getting killed in the battle. And we got to that episode and it happened. You guys weren't that impressed with it. He's like, Oprah's dead. I hate my life. Just like now with Jon Snow. So, anyways, we've gone long. We thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching. This is the last episode of Game of Thrones.
Ever, because they're all dead.
Until next season for Game of Thrones. We'll do it again. But we will be doing something else. We may take 1 week off so we decide what we're going to do, or we may hit next week depending on what we decide to do. We're thinking True Detective still?
Yeah, I think so. I think we may do. Anybody in the chat watch True Detective? We may do the same kind of thing for that.
Yes.
But we're not sure. This week we're going to do some stuff for E3. So for any video game fans out there, we're going to be doing some E3 stuff.
Starting tomorrow, man.
Yep, starting tomorrow. So we're going to do stuff like this, but for E3, I think.
Yeah.
So definitely, thank you guys for sticking with us this whole season, these last 10 weeks. It's been awesome. And it seems like more people have come in every week. So thank you very much for anybody who's even watched for just even a minute. We really appreciate it.
We have probably said a lot of wrong things too,
Yep.
so please bear with us. We're not perfect. We're not experts. So even my knowledge of the books, I'm still pretty stupid on it. So stay tuned this upcoming week for the E3 stuff, and of course next week we'll start with True Detective Season 2, Episode 1.
And leave comments, leave tweets. Tell us what you want us to do the next show on.
Definitely. Twitter.com/nerdpunch, twitch.tv/nerdpunch, Facebook and YouTube all/nerdpunch. Everything.
Go to
Nerdpunch.
youtube.com/nerdpunch if you guys don't know how to get there.
Right. Shut
Oh
up.
wait, you're here.
Shut up.
Thanks for being here. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here because Ramsey's coming for us now. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh yeah, thanks.
No, thanks.
No,
Hey,
thank you.
No, thank you.
And Johnson's not dead. See ya.
Hashtag just the lives.